Hi, I'm Sue from Quilter's Paradise, and I'm here to show you some tips that will make sewing easier. I'm going to use this tool that you can also purchase from us, which is a sewing machine guide. And as you can see, it's got holes within the template and they're marked. One is for 1/4 inch that we want to use. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this, the 1/4 inch is right here in that hole. So I'm going to bring this over and I am going to lower my needle into that hole, and then I'm going to put the presser foot down right here, okay? And I want it to go straight. Do you see that? Now what I'm going to do is take, and I'd like you to back up a little if you can. We use painter's tape. Okay, I like blue because I can see it. And also what I like about it is it's not that sticky. I'm going to put 3 of them together and I'm going to place them right here next to that. And now I'll have a guide. Okay. Then I'm going to raise my needle, raise the foot, and get rid of this seam guide. And now I'm going to use this to sew and ensure that my needle is in the correct position. Again, by pressing. I should get a 3.5 inch square. Now I'm going to show you the difference you get for the slits in our Slit N Sew Templates based on whether you use the 45 or the 28. So right now I happen to be using the 45-degree Diamond C 4-inch finish template. And all I'm going to show you is I'm going to line this up here and I'm going to show you cutting first with the 45 and then with the 28. So I put it down, I make sure this does not move, and I cut from the inside out. Okay? Now I'm going to do the same thing with the 28. I just moved it over a little and I'm going from the inside out. Now I'm going to show you what you've gotten. As you can see, those are the slits. So the larger slit was with the 28, the smaller slit is with the 45. Personally, I prefer the 28. One thing that I've realized to make the slits cut easier is to have the table lower. If you have a high table, you don't get the strength, or it just doesn't cut as well. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open my blade, I'm going to put my hand down, and what I do is normally you cut like this. I'm going to cut straight down. And what's really cool is when I do it like this, I can sometimes, I don't know if we can boost it so it can, you can hear it. You hear a little snap. And I'm just going to go all the way around this. And now, can you see the slits? On the tips now, I'm going to show you that I can cut 4 layers of cotton at one time. So here is 4 layers. I happen to be using a 10-inch square set, so I'll flip that down. When I'm using a set like this happens to be the 8-inch finished Drunkard's Path, and both of these fit in here. When I do this, what I typically do is I cut this one first, then I'll come back and cut this one. The reason for that, this one's larger. Okay, I have more of an opportunity. And I happen to be using this, which is called the Handy Mat, and it can be moved on the table with ease. I don't have to walk around or anything like that. So while I'm cutting this one, I'm going to be removing this one. I'm going to put this over, and I'm also going to be trimming off the pinked edges, because sometimes I get confused as to whether or not which edge of that I sew with. So we're going to cut it off and we don't care. What I do is I have my handy grabber material on there, and I'm putting this on, and as you can see, this will not move. I'm going to come in this way, come around, and cut that off. And tug it out of there. That one little thread, you know. So as you can see, that easily happens. Also, I'm going to do a couple of the slits right now, again from the inside out. Yeah. And I'll show you that those made it through. Done. Now I happen to be using flannel. I'm going to see if I can do 2 layers. I know that I cannot do 4 from past experience, so I'm going to try 2 and see if that works. Again, I'm going to put my template down on my mat so I can move it around as ease, but this stays on here, and I'm going to, again, I like using my 28, I'm going to cut with that. And it did work. Now I want to ensure that I can get my slits. So again, I'm going to put this down. And one thing is, as you're pressing, you can hear it snap sometimes. You're hearing the threads actually snap. So I'm going to take that out. And again, 2 layers will work with this flannel. Now I'm going to show you a woven. Okay, this is thicker than, say, a flannel could be. And if you're having difficulty with that, again, decrease your layers. I'm going to cut this out just like I've done. And that came out. Now I'm going to cut my slits from the inside out. Okay. And the slits are there. Okay, some people have called and asked, well, they're not comfortable cutting the slits. So I'm going to show you another method that you can use, because we have to have the slits before you start sewing. So we're going to cut around this, and I just happen to be using 1 layer. There we go. Okay. So if I'm concerned about cutting the slits, as long as you have a sharp pen, you can mark it. Now, one thing I want to show you, I'd like you to zoom in on a slit. Are you there? Okay. Do you see this line? That's your sewing line. That's your 1/4 inch. You do not want to go past that when you cut, and I would prefer not to go past it when I mark. So I could bring it in here and I can mark. And when you're marking with a pen and stuff, you want to hold tight because it's going to pull your layers out. Now I'm going to take this out and you're going to see that. But when I take little scissors, and I'm going to reach over here to get them, you just want to make sure you don't go past your 1/4 inch seam. So do little snips. And then you have your snipped. Okay? Thank you for joining us today, and I hope you enjoyed the tips. This is Sue from Quilter's Paradise, and our job is to make quilting simpler.